Girls, it is Tuesday, February 14th, Valentine's Day, and our favorite day for all traders because it's CPI day. There's a lot of volatility to be expected, and yeah, probably we will have some volatility today. So let's see what the market will bring us today and start right away with our favorite chart for Nasdaq. Here it is, and it is still rising 0.3% up before the market is open. We hit 12,600. The high point was 12,601 point for Nasdaq future, for March future. We are trading 25 points lower right now, and in about 13 minutes we will have consumer price index, and this will move the market like the last times, like every month. And this is really interesting this time because the expectancies are really low. So let's see the economic news and compare to the previous news. So today, CPI data, the forecast is about 6.2%. Last time it was 6.4%. The monthly number is 0.4%, the same like last time. Core CPI 5.5%. And the monthly number 0.5%. So we see that the core CPI without nutrition and gasoline prices and so on is a little bit lower. Why? Because the natural gas prices have dropped and also crude oil prices have dropped. Therefore, the inflation without these numbers is a little bit lower. So let's see what we will see on CPI news. But let's just compare with the previous ones. So the last time we were just in line. This was really interesting to see in January. And the previous two times we were lower than expected. And the two times here in August and September, we had higher than expected numbers. There we had the huge drops here in August and September. So when the news came out on September 13th, this was one of the biggest drops I can remember. So let's go to a day chart to see this again from September 13th. So you can clearly see this was a CPI day. So I don't expect this movement for today. But yeah, you know that the big movements can happen on CPI days. And this was December 13th. So you see there was a huge movement as well. So we went higher, but then we sell off on the same day. We sold off on the same day. So what I want to see is a comeback here to the 12,800 or maybe 13,000 level. This would be really nice. So I want to short here again. I'm still in my long positions, but I want to close if we go higher. So I'm ready to close right away. If we just go higher by 30 or 40 points, then I want to be out. So normally we do these crazy moves right before the news come out. We sometimes go just 50 points to the upside, and then if the news are bad, then we will push down. But normally I should be out with my position, with my long position right away. So even if the news are not better than expected, which means lower than expected, then I will be out of my long positions. It's just a small long position for my portfolio, but I just don't want to take on more risk to the upside if the numbers are bad. Therefore I will be out, and I will take on new short trades when we reach 12,800 or above. So I will step in with my first position right here, the previous highs, and more at the 13,000 level. So retest of the previous highs here, 12,950 points. I have drawn some Fibonacci lines. As you can see, we are right now at the 50% Fibonacci level. This is sitting at 12,593 points. So we were already 8 points above these 50% Fibonacci correction. And the next target to the upside would be 12,677 points. And the red line here, you can see this was the closing of February 7th. This is 12,781 points. Yeah, let's see if we can reach this level. So I want to see 12,800 today. But if the numbers are a lot higher than expected, then probably we'll see a dropping and a retest of the 20 EMA line. So I wanted to see a test of the 20 EMA level, but we didn't get there quite in the hole. So we were, yeah, this was about 25 points above where I've set my limits to get in with more long positions. So I didn't catch it at the bottom. I was a little bit too early here at 12,420 points. I wanted to take on more longs here, but didn't get it. And then we went higher, closed here. And yeah, yesterday I didn't take on more long positions. So I just have a really small long position. And yeah, I'm ready to sell right away. When we see a smaller movement above 12,600, I will sell right away. My limit is set and I want to short at higher levels. So the next levels to the downside, 12,500, 12,404 and 12,236. So the previous lows. And yeah, so we can just keep in mind the round numbers. 12,500, 12,400 will be the important ones to the downside. Maybe we will see more, but normally 200 to 300 points in NASDAQ is just a normal movement right on the CPI news. And we often see a big movement in one direction when the news are out, and then in the next trading hour almost nothing happening. When the market is open, we see a shift. So then the market is going the other way. We really see this very, very often. So I would wait for the market to open if you are not sure which direction to take on. And I will take on short trades here at 12,800 points, but it's just my opinion, what I want to do, what I will do. So don't trade after me. Always do your own due diligence and know how much risk your portfolio can accept. And yeah, I'm curious how the numbers will be, because I think the numbers are pretty low. So the expectations are pretty low with 6.2%. I don't know if we will go this low, but yeah, everything is possible on CPI day. So be prepared for everything. Okay, this is the news for today, CPI. What else do we have this week? Just to see what is else. Tomorrow we have core retail sales here, 3-star event 1 hour before the market is open, so I will try to live stream this as well. On Thursday we will have building permits, also 1 hour before the market opens, and Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index. So Thursday again is an important day, and initial jobless claims, again a weekly number, but yeah, a big focus on the job market as well. So Thursday will be important again. Yeah, on Friday we will have the German PPI, but not the US PPI. So nothing really important on Friday, only 2-star events here. Okay, this is for the news side, and I wanted to give you a little forecast from my side, because normally here, where's my link? We have the Cleveland CPI data. So this one is coming out a little bit earlier, so we already have the February data. And there you see CPI monthly number is 0.61, and the yearly number is 6.35. So this one is higher than the expectation. And yeah, I'm curious if we will reach the 6.2%. So you see Cleveland is 6.35 and the expectation here is 6.2. And for the monthly number, we had the 0.5 and the monthly number here was 0.61, so higher as well. So it doesn't have to say a lot, so we can be lower than the Cleveland numbers because this one's a really early number. But when the expectations are this low, then we can see yeah, we can see a surprise to the upside and maybe higher numbers than expected, and therefore a drop in the market. But in 5 minutes we will know more, and therefore it doesn't make any sense to just try guessing the outcome. Just wait for the numbers and then trade the outcome and trade the movement. So we are near my take profits here at 12,610 points, and there I will take some profits out. My limits are set and the other limits are at 12,800 points where I want to go short, and therefore I'm just waiting for these levels to come to short. And there's my other portfolio. I will just get this on the other side and set the take profits here as well to be out of my long positions. And 12,609 right below. So I can be out of my long position if the market is moving, what it probably will do, and then I can take on new shorts if we go higher. So just waiting these 4 minutes until while waiting we can have a look at orange juice. I was talking about orange juice last week on Friday in the live stream, and we have seen these 30% upside move, and I was talking about limit downs, and yeah, we had this limit down right away. So as you can see on Friday, was it Friday? No, it wasn't Friday. It was yeah, doch, it was Friday, yeah. February 10th, we went to the limit down here, these 10-cent move. So from limit up on Thursday to limit down on Friday, and then on Monday we had a huge gap down, as you can see, and this was it 8% move, 7.9% move on this day, and to the next limit down. So it was an extended limit down, and it was interesting to see. So the market is just open half an hour. We opened lower with a gap down and closed the gap right away. So I'm expecting the market to go back to this 2.05 where the breakout was happening, and probably we will see more limit downs maybe, but as you can see we often go straight to higher levels here and then even faster to the downside. The last time this happens, I can show you at Finwith, and then we will go right away back to the numbers. Orange juice. So this was one of the highest prices we ever had for orange juice, because you can see here the last times we had these high prices were 2011 and 2016, and now because we had the breakout here this time, the third time we tried to test these high points, we went higher for 30%, and yeah, it was even higher than the highest price since I have the charting here since 2005, and now we will probably retest the previous highs and come back to this area. But it's interesting to see because the commercials are already really short here, so they expected the prices to come back, and we were talking about this the previous week, so it was nothing really unexpected that we have seen here, but it is interesting to see that I was right with the expectation. And for sugar, it's also interesting if we will see lower levels here, so nothing happening right now. It's still trading higher today, but we already made a lower high from the previous high point. So let's see if we break below the previous low points, and then I will take on some short trades. So I'm out here right before the news. Perfect, 1 minute, then we will have the news. So let's see, this was the push I was expecting right before the news. We often see this. I'm out of all my longs now, closed with some profits, and now I'm ready for the news. So let's go back to the news here and see what will happen. So just bring this above so that we can see both, to a 1 minute chart, so then we can see more, and then we are ready. 20 seconds left and the market is already going crazy. Hope you are too, if you are in a position, but never go crazy. Always be patient, be calm, know where your levels are, and know what you are doing. And we are going down. Wow, this was a huge drop. So the numbers are out, a little bit higher than expected. Core CPI at 5.6% instead of 5.5. CPI at 6.4 instead of 6.2. So as expected, it's a little bit higher. So the market went down about, what was it? 150 points maybe. Not too shabby, but we can have more. And we can still turn to the other side. So we often see the false direction in the first movement. So we wait until the market opens, and then the market will push maybe higher. We often have seen this as well. So I'm still sticking to my plan to sell some more at 12,800. I'm not in a position right now. As you can see, there's a zero. I have no position. This is a profit for today. You could already take on the long trade for a reversal right now, but I don't want to trade these movements before the market is open. So we went below pre-market lows, retested here these lows before we closed yesterday, 1 hour before we at the closing yesterday. These were the lows, and we even pushed below these here, but didn't test the lows of yesterday. So yeah, numbers were a little bit worse than expected, but I think it's not too high. It's still okay. It's still okay. It's lower than the previous time. 6.4 is lower than 6.5, what we had the last time. And core CPI is almost in line, just a little bit above. And yeah, you see the monthly number is in line, so it's okay. It's not this big of an issue, and market is already moving back. So you see a lot of stop losses have been triggered now, and all these guys are now trying to dip buy or stepping back into their long positions. Just crazy to see. So I went out here at 12,609.75. This is where I had my take profit. So it was a nice point to go out. High point was 12,618. Yeah, would have been nice to trade long here again. Yeah, sometimes it's really fast, like today. 100% reversal, and this was a 1% movement, not too bad. So now waiting for 200 more points to the upside, just for everyone freaking out to have bad news or worse than expected news, and then the market going higher. This is the thing when every journalist is going crazy because they have difficulties to explain why is the market going higher if the news were worse than expected. Yeah, because it's stock exchange. Yeah, sometimes it's just crazy what's happening here, but you have to accept that the market is doing what it's doing, and therefore never trade the outcome of the news. Always trade the direction. And now it's long, it's to the long side. So if I would have stick to my long position, I could just have kept my long position and would have made more money now, but yeah, never risk it to get the biscuits or to pick up pennies in front of a steamroller. Therefore, just staying patient, waiting for my levels to come, and then I rather want to be in a short position than to be in a long position here at the high points, because probably we will retest here and then push lower again. So we are still showing signs of a short trend here for parabolic SAR. ADX is still showing a long trend here, and a strong long trend. As you can see, we are making higher lows, higher highs here. So this was a lower high, of course, but it was just a correction here for 1 week. And you see where the low point was. The low point was right where the previous high point was. So it was a good point for a correction here to stop. And now we are trying to push above. So let's see if we can push above these 12,800 level. And if not, then this is the first sign for the shorties to step into their bearish positions. But maybe we just want to push above, just to push out the shorties again and to retest previous highs. So therefore I want to step in a smaller short position at 12,800 at these previous high points here at the red line, and then short more at the 12,950, 13,000 level. So therefore being patient and only going in with a short position, a small short position in about 200 points. So big movements here. As you can see, we retested the previous Fibonacci level here, the 61.8%, and then pushed back. And if nothing happened, we are right at the level where we had the breakout. Jay Powell still needs to bring the pain. Yeah, of course. We talked about this several times. It will take 2 years to bring down inflation back to 2%. So I'm not expecting to see 2% inflation level before 2025. And the same as Jerome Powell is expecting that we will not see it before the end of 2024. But yeah, let's see the expectation for, not for inflation, but for interest rate levels. So here, and there we see 87% now for a 25 basis points move and 12% for a 50 basis points move. So now you see, because the inflation is still higher than expected, we now see a higher expectation for a bigger move. 50% I don't know if the Federal Reserve will go back to the 50 basis points move, because the last time we had 25 basis points, and I think they will stick to the 25 basis points. But the next Federal Reserve meeting is on March 22nd, so we have more than 1 month and a lot of changes until the next Federal Reserve meeting is happening. Therefore, yeah. But you see, 1 month ago we had 78% and 16% for no movement, so just stay at the current level. And now we had a big shift to even 50 basis points. And let's see the probabilities for the next meetings. Wow, we have a new high point here, expecting 5.5% in July, 42% expectancy. Okay, let's see if this will really happen. But I think that 5.25% is high enough, because here in July we should already see the recession, and therefore the Federal Reserve will have to take down the interest rates at the end of the year probably. Market is not expecting this right now. You see 31 and 33%, so there's a big indifference between staying at the same level and taking down the interest rate level back to 5%. But I think they will have to lower the interest rate at the end of the year, because the recession will be deeper than expected, a lot deeper than expected, because above 5% interest rate level is so high. A lot of companies will struggle with these high interest rate levels, and it takes time. It takes 3 to 6 months until we will see the effects on a company, to the companies, and especially for labor market it will take even more time, and therefore we will have to wait for the last interest rate hikes to see in the numbers. So yeah, there will be a focus on job market in the next weeks and months. I've already said this several times, but especially now in the next quarter or in the beginning of the next quarter, so in March and April, we will probably see that the job market will turn. No matter what Joe Biden is saying, he wants to he wants to create even more jobs. I don't know if Jerome Powell is on his side. He probably doesn't want to see more jobs. But yeah, sometimes. Oh, a move back. Interesting. But the market to want to retest the low points here. Interesting to see. Probably a second chance to take on longs here if we go lower. Nice entry point. If we will make a higher low point here, could be interesting to take on some longs. So I'm trying to step in a smaller long position here, just 1 micro Nasdaq. Okay, I'm in. And yeah, if we retest the lows or go lower, I'm able to go in with more longs. But I think this movement here right after the news is already the signal for the market to dip buy. So we have 50 more minutes for the market to open, and then probably we will see some dip buyers stepping in. Yeah, we are right at the 9 EMA level, so the low point was at the 9 EMA level on a day chart. But we can go lower. We can also retest here the previous Fibonacci level, 12,400 points. Oh, dropping below 12,500. Retest previous lows here. Ready to take on more. Just trading small with micro Nasdaq futures. You see how fast this is happening. So we probably won't retest these lows. Let's see. Already going higher. Could this report cause the market to sell off aggressively at open? I don't think, because everyone who wanted to sell already has sold. And therefore, I think that the market will dip buy on the open when we open here at the lows. But of course, everything can happen. But I think the numbers were not as bad as expected, so it could have been worse, and therefore there will probably be some dip buyers here. So even commodities have pump and dumps, as Penguin's comment. Yes, of course, there are a lot of pump and dumps, especially in illiquid commodities like orange juice. It's funny to say illiquid for orange juice because orange juice is a liquidity. It's a liquid juice, but yeah, sometimes futures trading is not very liquid for some commodities like rice and orange juice and others. And especially for orange juice, and therefore there are these limit ups and limit downs. Like lumber or live cattle, these are not really liquid futures, not comparable to crude oil, natural gas or Nasdaq. So yeah, retested the lows. It's a good sign that we have seen now a retest here, double bottom. Let's see if we can go higher. But let's talk, while we are looking at Nasdaq, let's talk about some other single stocks like Tesla. Tesla had a low yesterday at $187, so they went lower while the market was up. We had a retest pre-market here at $199, so almost retested the 200, and now pulling back here. Then we have crude oil prices here. Crude oil is still pulling higher here. But today we are down 1.9%, so didn't retest the $82 level, but still making higher lows, and yeah, there's still some room to go back into this resistance area. For natural gas, this one is interesting. Natural gas, oh, my chart is on the other screen. So for natural gas, we are now trying to form a bottom, as you can see here at the $2.50 level. This is a April future. And there we see that probably this $2.50 area will be some kind of bottom. Let's see if we can push higher back to the $3 area. This was a previous low point here. So there's some room to the upside to this $3 area, about 18% upside potential if we pull higher. So just show outside regular trading hours, we are already trading higher 4.5%. Just a normal move for natural gas. But we need a breakout here above the $2.70 level to probably retest the $3 area. I'm in a short put trade right now, so not a long trade in the future, but in a short put trade. So I can profit if the prices are pulling higher or just going sideways, because time is in my favor. I traded a little bit directionally because I sold a $2.50 strike put, so at the money, and sold a lot of time value. So yeah, it's in my favor when the prices are pulling higher, but I think these $2.50 are now the bottom. I can be wrong, it can still pull back to the $2 area, but I don't think that we will see a push below the previous lows here. Just waiting for the breakout to the upside, and if it's trading to just sideways, then it's also okay in my favor. What's happening with the other big tech stocks? Apple pulling back a little bit, 0.6% right now. And on the day chart, we see just sideways trading here. So we talked about this in the previous streams. We need a breakout above the previous highs here, or push below the $150 area to see lower levels. But for now, the 9 EMA on the day chart is holding. And for what else do we have here? Wix. Let's see Wix. Wix was pushing higher yesterday, but went down when the market was pulling higher. And now you see Wix was pulling lower a lot because the news are out, so the fear went out of the market. We went back below the 20 area, 19.52 right now, 4% lower than the closing yesterday. But it can turn, so every day it can turn back above 20. Probably not when the Nasdaq is and the ES or the S&P 500 are pulling higher, but it will probably go lower when the markets are pulling higher. And let's go here back to Nasdaq. So Nasdaq now sideways trading. I don't think that will happen a lot in the next 45 minutes, so I would wait for market open to take on more longs or wait for my short level to come. I would only trade small to the long side, even if it's in a long trading phase here. On a day chart, I would still wait because we are at higher levels here. I would rather short it at the higher levels and just trade small. But I think that we will see higher levels today. Probably when the market opens, there will be more volume and some dip buyers will buy in here. But just be patient because we can still retest the lows right before the open. If you have some other stocks you want me to analyze, just write them down in the chat. You're thinking about going long on Boyle if it makes higher highs. Yes, Boyle is the ETF on natural gas, so this would be the same direction that I have taken. So if you want to wait for the breakout, just look at the future. March future is a front contract month, and as soon as we break above 270, then you can probably be sure that we will see the breakout here. The previous high point here was 265. So I'm already looking at the April future because I'm in an option position, and these options are on the April future. But you can also take on the March future here because this one is a front contract month. And as soon as we see the breakout here of the sideways trading phase, then you can step on in a long position from Adidas because they have to write off, I think it was $500 million, $500 million, because they canceled the Yeezy Corporation with Jay-Z, and therefore, yeah, there was a huge drop because they still have a lot of these shoes and they won't sell them. So 11.5%, big gap here. Yeah, we closed about half of this gap, but you see how high the implied volatility was, and therefore I stepped in a short put, 122 euro strike. It's not really liquid. The European option market here for the German stocks like Adidas is not really liquid. There are big spreads between bid and ask, so I don't like to trade the German options. But this time it was interesting because of the high implied volatility for a stock like Adidas. And the German market DAX is still in an uptrend, so therefore I took this short put position. It's only a small position for my portfolio, but it's already in the green because the implied volatility, as you can see here, dropped 2 percentage points. The stock is just moving sideways, but implied volatility is dropping, and therefore it's in my favor. And every day passing by, nothing happening, is also in my favor here. Do I have DAX here? Yes, this is DAX 40. So you see we are near the high points and still pushing. So yeah, the European markets and especially the German market is really strong. We have a lot of industrial titles here in these 14 largest German companies, even if the largest company is pulling back out of Germany and only wants to be traded in the US. Linde, it's a large company, about 10% of the weighting of DAX is in Linde, and this one is they had a merger with an American company, and therefore they only want to be traded in the US and not in Europe anymore. And yeah, therefore they cannot be in DAX anymore. It's just crazy to see that such a big company is pulling out of the largest stock index like DAX. Yeah, we will see what will happen. So probably Commerzbank will come back. They were in DAX some years ago, and then they had to move out for Wirecard, and everyone knows what happened to Wirecard. Yeah, everyone was false with Wirecard. Everyone thought this was the next big thing, the next big German tech stock, and then they went bankrupt really big, fooled everyone, and yeah, a lot of small traders, a lot of retail traders lost big in Wirecard. And now Commerzbank can come back because Linde is stepping out of DAX. But yeah, on a technical basis, you see it's higher highs, higher lows, and it's looking good, and therefore it should also be good for Adidas. Back to Nasdaq. Nasdaq retested next Fibonacci level, 50% Fibonacci level, 12,600 area. You see this was a pre-market high point. Just normal. Yeah, there will be some movements until the market opens, but I think I don't have to show this until the market opens. So probably we won't test lower levels. Maybe I would take on more longs here if we retest the previous lows here, but only small. But my main trade will be shorting at 12,800 and higher. Your internet may be down. My internet, yeah, maybe my connection is not the best today. Could be. Sorry for this. But let's just move on with the next things here, and then I can close out the live stream. So EURUSD is pulling higher. So this is the first indicator here for higher stock market prices, because you know when the money is going out of the US dollar, of the safe haven, and flowing back into euro, then probably we will see higher stock prices, and this is happening right now. So we retested 108. This was a higher level than on February 8th, so therefore probably we will see higher levels and then higher stock market prices. This is exactly what I wanted to see. Here for gold is also pulling back right now, so not too bad, because you know if we see higher expectancies for interest rates, so normally this should be bad for gold, but if gold is going higher, then probably the market is not seeing the the outcome of CPI so bad. So also a good sign for the stock market here. And the other tech stocks, so let's go to the AI stocks like Microsoft. Again, big gaps here. So again, an up gap yesterday. So a lot of room to go lower again. So my expectancy is still to see the $250 area before we see higher levels. But like always, everything is possible. And for Meta, still in sideways trading here. Nothing really interesting. Apple, we already talked about this. Google is still pulling down. So interesting to see that Google is pulling down and Microsoft is going higher, maybe because of ChatGPT. And Bard is not like expected the big thing. So we will have to wait for Bard, for Google's AI to be implemented into Google search. And then if it's really the next big thing and can be better, maybe better than ChatGPT, then we will see a recovery of Google. But it's not happening right now. So what else do we have? I think we went through all the major big tech stocks here. Yeah, let's see ES future at last. So the previous high point was 4,208 points, and we were already at 4,186 points. So you see a lot higher than Nasdaq. Nasdaq still needs some points to its previous highs. ES future was already there. So it's interesting to see that we pulled back already. You see, big doji now. But probably when the market opens, we will retest the previous high points here at 4,200 points. Let's see what will happen there, because you can see here an early short trend. Parabolic is signaling a downtrend, but ADX is still to the long side here. But the trend is not as strong as it is on Nasdaq, because here you see on a day chart that the red line is below the 20, so it's not a really strong uptrend here on ES future. And compare this to Nasdaq. There you see on a day chart, here it is still a stronger uptrend than on ES future, and the ADX is showing a stronger uptrend than it is showing on ES. But it will be interesting to see what will happen when we reach the previous high points here. So I hope you could take on some interesting things for your own trading. Wish you had some wins today, and I will probably go live tomorrow again 1 hour before the market opens. Wish you happy trading today. See you next time. Goodbye.